Hey folks, this is Billy D, K-A-Y, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be UFC 109 predictions into the mind of Randy Couture. And so what I'm going to do is pick one fighter out each UFC event and show what's going on in their mind. Last time I did it was Rashad Evans, which was pretty good. So if you want to go check that out, I think you'll like it. I wasn't quite right on prediction, but it was still pretty decent on what was going on in his mind. Before I get started, this is no disrespect to Randy Couture. Like I've said previously, I was never as happy watching a fight as when I watched Randy beat Tim Sylvia. So you might hear some things you like and dislike, but anyway, it's just about truth and entertainment and having some fun and making the fight more enjoyable. So let's get started. Okay, this is basically what's going on in Randy Couture's mind, and you'll see it from all the other diagrams that I've got going on. So I'm going to have to get it down here. Basically, this is what's going on in Randy Couture's mind. What's important to Randy Couture? Oh, yeah, before I get started, there's only two human problems: pleasure and ego. And when I say ego, I mean the sense of self that we have, or being self-centered, however you want to look at it. And it's not Freudian kind of ego kind of thing, which may be similar, but I care less about Freud. Okay, so here's what's important to Randy Couture. Randy has an ego. Randy's strong, and he knows it. Randy also has the hero gene. This may take me a little bit used to this. He has a hero gene, and that makes him want to be a champion. So you're going to see this repeating theme throughout all the Randy's experiences that I've been exposed to him during the UFC. Okay, the rise of Randy Couture. Here's how Randy rose. Okay, so Randy, he had, like I said, there's the repeating theme here. But Randy started out, the first fight I ever saw Randy Couture fight, Randy was bullying, trying to use his forcefulness, and so that's how Randy started out rising. And so that wasn't going to take him very far because he isn't necessarily the biggest guy, and there's probably guys out there that has more force. So Randy, being the guy that he is, wanting to be the champ, he had to evolve, and that's what we're going to see here. Let's see if I get this right. Okay. So it's the same graph again, or same diagram. But notice this time, Randy realized there was going to be people that he couldn't bully his way onto, maybe like Vitor or some big heavyweight. So Randy was going to need a different strategy. And notice what allowed him to change. He wasn't attached to being a bully or forceful. He was attached to being the champion, the hero, and using these things appropriately. So Randy learned how to yield, which that lead to more strategies. And so that's why Randy's a master strategist, because he gave up on the forcefulness so he could remain champion. He had to do that. If he had continued on the forceful route that he was going, he would have never stayed champion. And being champion is extremely important to Randy Couture. Okay, the dark side of being a champion, or wanting to be the champion. Let's see here. Family. Notice the red line? Family suffers. It doesn't matter. Family isn't that important. This is what's important to him. He wants to be the champ. He has a champ mentality like Alexander the Great. That's the most important thing in his life. And again, notice this pattern is going to be consistent throughout his life, and even till probably the day he dies. What his matter is, he could let go of that. Then remember, after he got the divorce, worked through his family issues, the competitive bug came back. And again, that all comes from all that ego, or wanting to be the champ, which rose from his strength and his hero gene. Anyway, why does age and pain don't matter to Randy Couture? Well, it's real obvious. Randy wants to be the champ. That's all that's important. Pain isn't important to Randy. Now, pain does arise from ego. Without ego, there's no pain, which you may or may not believe that. That's fine, but nonetheless, pain and decay come into Randy's life just like anybody else. He's really no different than anybody else, even though it may seem it. He's just more willing to deal with it, at his age than most guys are. Most guys would quit, so you know what, I need to quit this. Randy, it don't matter to Randy. Randy wants to be the champ. He's a hero. And notice what's happening. These things, right? Pain is coming from ego, but his hero, champion, and his strength are pushing and clamping down. That stuff does not matter. He will push it out of his mind. So as he gets older, his strength will weaken. But his hero probably wanting to be a hero, wanting his desire to be a champion, probably stronger maybe even. So Randy knows to be a champion, again, he has to yield. He has to use his energy wiser. And that's, again, yielding. It's the feminine, whatever you want to say. Plus, Randy also, having a champ gene, he said, you know what, I can change my diet. I can change not wanting pleasurable foods and still be a champ. So that's what matters to Randy. This cycle right here is what matters to Randy. Pain don't matter. Giving up some pleasurable foods don't matter. But there's a why Randy gets no respect. Well, this is Randy, and Randy had to yield to stay the champ, and he got smarter as he got older, which that's good. He become humbler. He learned some humility because he realized that's really what winning's about. Is going to get him where he wants to go. But what does humility not get you? It don't get you any respect. So Randy's always the underdog because he's not bully minded anymore. He's like, hey, you know how Randy says, I'm not saying I'm gonna whip your ass. He said, let's just see what happens. That's a humble attitude. It's an underdog, and it's not popular like in the last fight with BJ Penn and Diego. Everybody's, oh, Diego. I knew BJ was gonna win because he knows how to yield. And okay, so this is why Randy gets no respect. So Randy's not getting any respect. He gets lower pay because, hey, he's getting no respect. He yields it. He's not talking a bunch of BS bully stuff. But Randy's still a hero, so that led with conflict. The no respect with the hero gene led to conflict, and that's when he broke out with Dana White. Okay? However, Randy couldn't satisfy his hero gene being kicked out of the UFC and can't fight for Strikeforce or Affliction. I think it's Affliction he was trying to fight for. So that led to Randy doing what Randy does best, overcoming. Randy yielded some more. Randy learned how to yield some more. He yielded to Dana's ego, let go of the conflict because, again, this is what's important. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get respect. It doesn't matter if he's an underdog. What's most important to him is being able to be the champ. He yielded to Dana, and he cut this stuff off because, again, this is most important up here. Okay. The dark side rises again. Divorce again. Family just isn't that important. This is what's important. I don't know why they divorced the second time, or, got divorced the second time, but it has something to do with this cycle. This being more important than this, I would assume. That's what's going on. The conflict. All conflicts between a man and woman rise from ego and pleasure. I don't think pleasure was the problem. I think this cycle right here caused him the problem. Okay. What does the future hold for Randy Couture? And it's real simple. That's all that matters to him. Wherever that leads him, that's where he'll go. I don't know exactly what'll happen. Maybe he'll fight until he dies knocked on. I really don't know, but he wants to be the champ. That's gonna be the most important. I think he'll fight until they kick him out, and then once they kick him out, or he gets crippled up in there, he'll still find some way to be a champ at something. I don't know exactly how. Anyway, folks, again, this ain't about beating up Randy Couture. It's getting inside Randy's mind, seeing what Randy's made out of, and basically just having some fun with it. And maybe you learn something about yourself in the process. And again, I've said this. Notice this though about Randy. Notice this again. The dark side of being a champion. There's sacrifices. You hear this all the time. When you go towards this right here causes all this to happen, and it hurts you in the place that you probably need the most is your family. So just realize if you go towards wanting to be a champion, you're going to have to sacrifice things that are going to be more important to you when you get older than you realize. So in a way, I really see Randy being a lonely man when he gets older, because I think that's really the champion's, I mean, he may look cool in public, but I think really he'll be lonely outside of the public, being a hero. But I think you see it with cowboys, maybe some kind of doctors that spend all their time at work, and lawyers, and people are overly ambitious. So don't let all the glory fool you. There's some negatives to it. Anyway, folks, it's fun talking about it, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Until next time, later, folks.